Guy, and it's 11:40 and we're just about to set off on day one of the West Highland Way. And here's Roo. Roo.
We were forced to drink non-expired milk.
Last time it was expired.
They've got a really good start to it. They've got like a gate over there which has like the West Highland Way written on it. So we're just stocking up on lunch for today. I've just gone and got some money out of the bank and we'll be on our way soon.
Ruben, you freaking... Oh, you pillock!
No, but...
Ruben is now going to smell like a cow.
I don't know! No.
Glorious!
My
Ruben's
lip
glorious!
was on, I was just shaking it!
Accident number one.
Pillock.
I
It's always him.
accident number two. Slipped over the mud. He's walking, maybe camped out.
Yeah.
That was critical. I'm gonna smell like milk.
You're going to stink.
I know.
So we're in the first mile of our walk. We've got about, well, we're in the first mile, I don't know if we've finished it yet. We've got about 11 to do today and we're doing what's called slack packing. So we put the tents up where we're sleeping the night because we had the camper van then, and we've only really got day sacks, so we've just got waterproofs and things in a couple of rucksacks, and everything else is waiting at the end of our first day's walk. And we've done some good trips through Scotland in the last couple of years. A couple of years ago we did the Hebridean Way on bicycle, cycle touring 200 miles. This time last year we were canoeing from one side of Scotland to the other up the Great Glen, but I think we're taking on our most difficult challenge yet. We basically got 100 miles along the West Highland Way, around about 10 miles a day. Other than today where we're slack packing, the rest of the time we're carrying everything we need with us, so tents, sleeping bags, the lot. And it's not only going to be physically challenging, but I think most of all mentally challenging, particularly for the boys. It will be the longest they've ever walked in one go. In fact, even today 11 miles without the heavy packs is not far off our previous limit, and then after that we'll be carrying rucksacks weighing between sort of 12 and 6 kilograms. Sol's obviously the lightest, but then he's a lot lighter than us, but still for him carrying a 6 kilogram sack is going to be as hard or harder than me carrying a 12 kilogram sack. So Mrs. Healy, what on earth are we doing?
Oh, we're going for a walk.
Yeah.
We'll walk in the countryside. It's fine.
Very long walk.
Ah, that's right.
Do you think the boys are up to it?
Yeah, I do.
Well, there you have it, folks. I'm more sceptical myself. I think they're going to find it hard.
Today.
I know, but they haven't got any packs in today.
Well, you know.
Day one when we're slack packing, most of us. The tent's already set up. It's going to start hurting on day 3, 5, 7.
3 to 5 is going to hurt, that'll be alright.
Actually, it's true. I think well, maybe by day 6 when you're sort of like only 4 left. Only 4 left? We've only ever walked 3 days at a time before.
We've only ever walked 2 days at a time before.
You're right. We're mad. So one of the things here is we're having to be careful to keep our feet dry, and it's rained so much last night. There's lots of puddles along the tracks, and we're all wearing trainers for this walk, which is a good thing and a bad thing. It's good in that they're light, they should dry quickly, but there's a risk of getting wet feet, so you have to look where you're going. Get past this bit. It's the last mile or so of day one, and it's starting to rain a bit. Put all your hoods up. Just the 3 hoods. It did rain a bit overnight. Right, first bit of trail magic. Well, paid for trail magic. Honestly, but
still magic.
Well, we've just finished our first day's walk. It's just here to the campsite. So that's 11 miles done, and the good thing is our tents are up already. How are you feeling after that 11 miles there, Ruth?
Well, my feet hurt.
Yeah, mine are a bit sore.
I just want to lie down.
Well, here's your tent. Oh, you made it.
11.5 miles.
11.5. Wow.
11.51.
It's nice to have a little covered area to cook our tea, especially as it's raining outside. Well, it's day 2, and this morning it's raining outside, so I'm not looking forward to getting out to get ready. Well, we're just starting off on day 2 and dodging the showers hopefully. Forecast is for a few showers. Just had one go over and we sort of waited our departure, but now we're on our way.
Waving down for the appropriate speed.
And we've only just started.
Oh look, there's Loch Lomond.
Don't know if the camera will see that.
We're going to walk through the woods over there, round the back of that hill, down to the lake, and that's where we camp.
Like 20 miles.
It's not.
It's not.
About 9 miles.
Right, we found a ball. Yeah.
As far as you can go. Price is 350, I believe.
So you can have one that starts.
Alright, so we've got one of our first proper views of Loch Lomond. Now we all find it hard at times, and Rue's finding it hard at the moment. Stop filming, I know. Well, do you not want me to film your hard bits?
Reuben.
We can edit. I'm going to use a special editing thing for that. So we've stopped for some lunch. We're cooking up some noodles and trying to dry the tents a bit in the wind and the occasional bit of sunshine, so that they're dry for when we have to pitch them tonight. It was on the way to the shores of Loch Lomond that we made a rather shocking discovery. We were walking through a small hamlet looking down into a river from the roadside, and one of the boys spotted what looked like a body, and indeed closer inspection revealed it was the dead body of a man lying in the river. So we obviously phoned the police and had to wait for them to arrive to provide statements, and as they were closing the road to sort things out, we had to then keep going in order to find somewhere to camp later on in the evening. On reaching the village of Balmahal, we were able to supplement some of the dry food rations we were carrying with us. Bit of a treat for the boys. Right, Rachel's been shopping for supplies. All looks very healthy stuff.
Is that why people were staring at me when I walked out the shop?
Sweets.
Whoa! The only boiled sweets they had were mint favourite mixtures. So we've got soft sweets, I'm afraid.
Soft sweets are nice.
Cake for breakfast.
Yeah, what of other choices? It's a very tiny shop. It's smaller than our lounge.
Yeah, but we
I'm just getting up to a viewpoint. It's going to be overlooking Loch Lomond. So we've got to find a campsite for the night. And it could be somewhere in those woods down there.
That's the thing with mountain walking, you often do that.
So it's 3:20 and we've done 8 miles today so far, and we'll probably hopefully find somewhere to camp in the next mile or so. We could even camp on this beach, but we know there's a car park with some toilets up ahead, and we might see if we can camp near there, so we've got some facilities in the morning. Bruce is usually an expert at this, but he's got to keep dry feet this time. Alright boys, how did you sleep?
Good.
Good.
Playing Plants vs Zombies. Not sponsored.
Do you hear the rain in the night?
No, not really. I was
You're
asleep.
asleep. It stopped for the moment, which is good.
I was like a human potato, completely oblivious to anything outside of this tent. Human potato.
Yeah.
I'll
It's
do
a
an
nice little
impression.
cocoon, isn't it? Nice. Mummy's woken up with bounce, which is good.
I feel like a raft of endless optimism and a sea of despair.
Where's that quote from?
I don't know, I made it up.
Sounds a bit contradictory in that
They're
case.
despairing, I'm the raft of optimism.
Good. They're not despairing actually, they're quite happy at the moment.
Yes, because they're still in bed playing on their phones. I'm going to go in there and create the despair.
So we've got...
Watch right here, Mum.
Hey, Robin in our tent, checking it out. Day 3, 8 o'clock, all packed up, ready to go.
Traffic. Definitely hoped it would be a more.
Well, breakfast on day 3.
In the rain.
In the rain outside the
I
toilets.
love the rain.
Dividing out the sweet rations, one per mile.
Go.
This is today's and tomorrow's sweet rations.
Where am I flipping?
10.
10.
11.
very nice bit of woodland here, just above Loch Lomond. Well, that would make a good wild camp just over there. Except we've only done 3 miles, so we've got plenty to go. We're going to be following the loch along the whole day and part of tomorrow as well. It's a big loch when you're walking it. Sometimes difficult to tell how windy it is on a video, but looking at the waves and the white crests over there might give you some idea. We've just seen a red squirrel just up there, going down the tree. Oh, there he is. Up there.
Oh my god!
In this tree here, Merle. Top of the tree here, this tree here, by you. He's probably jumped across actually. He was up there on that tree there, but he's probably, keep a look out because he's moving fast. Where is he? Oh there, behind this one.
Yeah.
He's really travelling fast. He sort of gets, ground level, yeah. Okay, so I can get a bit closer. Is that your first red squirrel you've seen?
That's the first one I've seen. And he was feet from me.
Well, we just had our first bit where we went wrong, Sol and I. We were chatting away so much that we missed the turning, and very kindly Whw came back up to show us that we'd missed it. Luckily we also heard Mummy cooing. You want a hand up? They're doing really well considering they've got tired legs after about 8 miles or more today. Still got about possibly 1.5 miles, 2 miles to go before we find our campsite, and we want to do that because otherwise we'll leave too much the following day where we've got a definite campsite, an actual commercial campsite. And it's still going to be 10 miles to get to that if we do 10 miles today. And as you can probably hear, the winds has picked up a bit. A little bit breezy, but dry for now, which is good. A little bit rocky in places. And certainly still a bit slippery underfoot, a bit soggy. Really having to look where you put your feet when you're wearing trainers to avoid getting wet.
I think you're wearing my socks, right? No, you're not wearing
We've got about half an hour before it's dark. Probably into our last mile here, and not letting up. some steep bits. Twilight, we've only got probably 10-15 minutes of usable light left before we're on to torches. We still haven't found the bothy, but we're hoping it's very soon. It can't be much further. We'll just have to keep walking, there's nowhere to camp short. So just got to keep going. The boys have done brilliantly, all of them are doing really well. It's been a hard 10 miles, we've been walking since 8 o'clock this morning. So 9 hours with only a few stops really. Just quite difficult terrain at times. We think we know where the bothy is. It's going to be on a headland just over there, which is still probably 600 metres away. What time is it? It's 5:05. So yeah, just in time I hope. .23 and just around the corner. Tune rooster.
I can't quite remember. Actually right for them. Right for them. Round up rice, not well, not rice. So probably take a sip, swallow, sip, swallow. How do you normally drink?
Yeah, drink like you drink. You don't actually need torches anymore, look.
About there, you reckon?
It's remarkably well lit for a bothy.
Yeah, it's got deep panels.
I know.
My name is Max.
Right, beginning of day 4, just leaving the bothy. Sol and Mum have had a little bit of a head start, but Sol's going slow. He's got a tendon injury on top of his feet that's stiffened up overnight, so he's starting slow. Hopefully by the time we find him it's going to be easing off a bit. He's also had some ibuprofen and we're going to just see how we get on. Basically it's 10 miles to the campsite, which is where we've booked in. We could stay tomorrow, so it's not a problem with the booking. The big problem is all our food's there, food for tonight, and we haven't actually got enough food really to get us there tomorrow. We'd have to sort of really eke out and be on cut rations. So that means we've basically got 10 miles to go without an option, but there is an option because if the hotel halfway along here does food to to go, yeah, which is a bit unreliable by the sounds of it, because it sounds like they sort of just have coach parties and don't necessarily cater to outside residents. So if we can't buy food, we basically got to get to the campsite. If we can get a lunch there, that'll just about leave us enough food that we can make a dinner up and just about maybe a breakfast, if we're careful with it. And then we could split the bit. We've basically got to see how, Sol's feet are going really, because that's the key determinant. I think, after what you boys did yesterday, I think you'll make it. It's going to be as long a day as yesterday, but I think, we could get there, and then, we've got a covered area and etc. So I think we've just got to see what happens when we get to this hotel, and that'll give us choices. Nice little cascade of waterfall there. Well, he made a good head start on us.
We thought you'd catch us sooner than that.
We have delays. Coroner, right, which bit's sore? That just up there, is it?
Yeah, so you can actually see where it's been rubbing.
Oh yeah. Now what I think is I might leave that there, but tape across there. We can rebuild him.
Rebuildingpeople.co.uk.
Twang.
.co.scotland.
Did you twang it?
Colours on that are amazing, aren't they?
Quality on that, eh? Look at
Yeah.
it, look at all the
Dramatic scenery, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So this nice man here has helped us out by giving us some food, which is really helping out because we might not make it to our campsite tonight, and which I don't think we will. It's like still a long way away. We walked 10 miles yesterday, and well, the soul there is just like knackered. So we're hoping that we might be able to have the option of camping short, and but we've sort of like even sent off food to the campsite. But yeah, so we've got a resupply of some food here, which this man's given us, which is really going to help us out.
Yeah,
So thanks very much. That's fantastic.
As well, you know.
You're a real gent.
And that'll last you now.
That will keep us.
Bottom of my heart, thank you.
No, we're all right for the wine because we've got to carry it. But that's brilliant. You've saved our skins there. Thank you. Have a nice journey. We'll pass on the love. We'll do our good turns somewhere else along the way. Yeah. Thank you. Well, we decided to eat some of our food now. That kind man gave us. I said to him that I didn't think we'd make it to the campsite where we've got our resupply. Had he got any pasta in his car that he'd got from a supermarket or something that he could sell us, and he just came out with all this lunch type stuff that they'd got, and that could just get us out of a pickle. We've now got the options that we can camp somewhere short, we find somewhere good, and then get to the campsite tomorrow if we need to.
Or we can try and push on.
Is this the rocky bit?
We're entering the
rocky terrain. Right, really carefully up there then. Let's have a look. Yeah, it is up here, Rach. Bit of a rocky section here. Track's quite slippery and all this rain as well. All the leaves. Just slowing us down rather. Merlin just says he's seen a curly-horned goat.
No, several.
Several. Right. We're going on a wildlife expedition now.
It smells like goat's teeth.
Oh, it does smell, yeah, I can smell them.
Look, there.
Wow. Like longhorns, right. Just carefully down this bit. They've got impressive horns, haven't they?
Yeah. It was the
Well, come across a few more goats just here. just see the second bothy up ahead. So we'll about 2 past. We'll have to make a decision there what we're going to do. So we had a quick stop at the bothy and came to a decision to carry on for the campsite. All hinges on Sol's state of mind and his feet, but at the moment he's doing really well. We're probably into our last mile. What time is it? It's 4 o'clock and it's already starting to look a bit darker than it was. There's an hour of daylight, but we should get to the campsite before dark. Rue and Merlin and I are going ahead a little bit to see if we can start booking in at the campsite and getting things organised. And actually we've been doing a really good pace this last couple of miles. Sol's doing really well pace wise, but emotionally he's now finding it hard. We're all pretty wet. I can feel wetness right through to the trussocks. Yeah, we're here, boys.
Finally.
I am so proud of these two men.
Huzzah.
They are legends. Very resilient, determined.
We went to cabin. I don't want to put a tent up in the pissing
Well,
rain.
let's just see what we've got first.
I don't want
What would you say if I got you a cabin?
cabin.
Hmm?
How much does the cabin cost?
£6 quid.
Oh, it's not terrible, they are. So
How many people does this fit?
Sleeps 4, but there's extra room.
And it's a solid, so
And it's got a heater.
a heater.
I think you boys deserve it. I'm going to
Thank
book
you.
us a cabin. So let me go and pay the man. They're doing food until 9, and they've got drying facilities, laundry through there. Right, no sign yet of Mum and Sol, but I think they'll be glad when they find we've got a cabin. So I'm going to go. Oh, we've got ourselves a little cabin here. We're all soaked through. We've got 4 beds on the floor and a heater, which is good. And a plug. And we're gonna get some dry clothes on and get some food. Better than putting a tent up, isn't it? Does that look good, Sol?
Yes, it's wonderful.
That night it was great to get warm and dry and not to have to put up the tents in the dark and the rain. But when we checked the weather forecast, we saw it was due to rain every day for the next 5 days. We decided we'd had enough and that the next morning I would get the coach back down to Mulgai where our camper van was parked. So here we are, it's the end of May 2021 and we're back at Beinglass campsite and about to resume our West Highland Way walk. Do you think we're going to make it this time to the end?
No, this boy is a fervent pessimist. He does not think we will do anything.
This time we've got good weather, the sun's out. In fact, we're going to be having to deal with sun, heat exhaustion on a scale of 1 to 10.
Cold.
Ow! Oh, I feel my feet coming off. I can feel them running off.
It's quite deep actually, isn't it there?
Oh yeah.
You could swim in that.
That's why I pointed out.
Actually, I think I'll take off my shorts and my top and my hat. Quite cold. Blimey! Blimey! Oh, a bit chilly in it, though. It's refreshing.
I don't know.
Mum again.
3 strokes.
I did. Three strokes. 3 strokes in it. I recommend if you're going to go now.
Yeah, this is 4K footage, this.
Yeah, plus
It's using up my memory.
Yep, plus you're getting cold slowly.
Look got wetter than I had before.
Come on, you can do it. You swam in cold and this.
2, 3, 4. That's
Counts as a swim.
Counts as a swim, that
That
does.
counts as a swim.
Ooh, it's changed.
So we've done over 5 miles now, and we're just sort of on our way to Crianlarich.
I have dunked my hat in the water so I can cool down because it is boiling hot.
And that's the feature of today. It's hot and sunny. Feels more like France really, doesn't it, than Scotland? Bit of a change from where we were here in November with all the rain. Must be just in those trees there, that cuckoo. So Rach, how are we doing?
Broken. And it's only day 1.
Mm.
It's shockingly hot given the spring we've not had. To go from winter to 21 or whatever it's been today is hard.
How's Sol doing?
He's better now that he's in bed.
There he is. Alright, Squirrely.
Yes, my tent is organised.
Oh, I haven't seen this one yet.
No, you haven't.
No, it does look good. It looks like, yeah, you get a nice evening, you just have it open like that, can't you? And get some breeze and keep the flies out.
Yeah, it's nice.
How you doing, Boo? What are you doing?
It's fine here.
You tired, aren't you?
Yes, very tired.
Got some pudding?
Yes,
Did you measure out the amount of water needed, or is that going to be very runny custard?
I'm just making this up as I go along.
Okay, because there's probably an amount of water listed somewhere on the package. No, just saying.
There we go, tease up. Baby bunny. Just in front, this yellow sandy slope just in front of us, not on the far side. I can see little baby bunny ears sticking out. You might be too low. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Just see little
baby.
So it's day 2 of the West Highland Way 2021, or day 6 accumulative, and still no idea quite how it's going to go. Yesterday was tough on people, and Rachel's feet are really giving her trouble, and so other than that it's a beautiful morning and there aren't any midges, and we had a good night's sleep. And the sun's out, so yeah, there are some big positives taking us into this day 2. So we're only about a mile from Tyndrum and we found a nice stream. The boys want to have a quick wash or dip. It's cold, is it, Sol?
Very cold.
Ice cream and Coke in Tyndrum.
Coke float.
refuel in Tyndrum, have lunch. This wild camping business isn't that bad after all. What's the state of play?
Dad's
So,
very. Cut to the next clip.
Solly's finding it particularly difficult at the moment, and Rachel's using the usual Minecraft distraction technique, which involves talking about one of Sol's favourite subjects, and that way the miles go past a lot easier.
But there's a gap in between. But if it breaks and there's no gap in between, which means it hits the piston push limit. So it broke.
Let's see. I don't talk really. I'm completely lying just to keep talking, because then you'll keep walking. But it works. Look how far you've walked since you've been telling me about caterpillars.
Well, how many miles have we done?
10.2.
Done 10.2 miles, so we've deserved a drink. And we've then got to find our campsite for the night.
Alright.
The game is capping small
Pictures
short.
and...
Orange.
Are you
I've
sure
got
this is soap
mango.
up in? Have you tested that?
Should be right. Day 3.
Still, I'm still half asleep.
Do you want to bring the audience up to date with what's been happening?
Well, there's not much to bring up to date on, particularly, but we're camping in a... Technically it's wild camping, but it's basically like a campsite, but you just don't have to pay, because there are lots of other people there. Yeah, that's all I got.
What's been the best bit so far?
Probably the bits where we're lying down and relaxing and taking a break.
What about the swimming? You like
Oh, the swimming's
in
nice.
the streams and rivers, don't you? What is for breakfast?
We are having snot. Troll snot.
Troll snot.
That's delicious.
That's yours. So it's dehydrated troll snot then.
Yeah.
What are the lumpy bits in it?
Oh, that's troll bogies.
Alright, lovely. That was none in mine. Alright, just setting off. Day 3. Just before 9, not quite the last to leave, but very nearly. So it'll be interesting to see how far we get today. Just over 10 miles gets us to the Glencoe Mountain Ski Centre, where we could get some dinner. But it's going to be a bit of uphill to start with, and again a fair old way for some people's legs. So yeah, we'll see how we get on. as well as enjoying the ever-changing views along the way. Another thing that's enjoyable on a family walk is the ever-changing conversations, which with the boys generally are about things that interest them.
More types of robots. Maybe you can be a spider-shaped robot as well as a bipedal robot. But that's not guaranteed. And the devs have said, considering the entire game's in first person, they could definitely expand to VR. And using other sorts of sci-fi tools.
So walking our way towards Glencoe, and we're on an old road that was built around about 1800 by Telford, and it's all like hard cobbles, stones, so it's sort of a little bit hard on the feet when you're wearing fairly light trainers, and it's quite humid today. So the humidity is making it a little bit harder work for people.
Yo! My name is Lil Toe. His name was Frodo. Now I'm running. Po 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 po. Yeah. I'll kill
This is the West Highland Way. Lunchtime entertainment for us all. Rachel's restoring her electrolyte balance
go into your skin or your clothing.
with pork scratchings and tomato ketchup flavoured crisps.
Here's a bite.
Rachel had not been feeling well for much of the day, and at first we thought this was perhaps the heat and maybe dehydration. After lunch we found a nice river to stop at and fill up our drinks bottles, and at this point Rachel was violently sick. Clearly she wasn't well enough to continue on, and fortunately there was enough room to put 3 tents up. It was still early afternoon, but this allowed us all a rest, and we relaxed by the stream and cooked dinner and had an early night to bed. So
Day 4, otherwise
beginning
no,
of day 4. What time is it? It's about 6:30ish. It's actually quite early, isn't it? But we were to bed early.
It's 7.
It's 7.
We're all in bed very, 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 very early.
And it's the day after Mummy vomited profusely just behind us actually. So we were fortunate we could just put the tents up just here. And
basically, if anyone wants porridge and doesn't want to bother cooking, there's a big pile over there.
Thank you, Merlin, for that. I have to edit all of this. So, fortunately, we've managed to camp, and you've now had quite a few hours rest, feeling a bit better, but obviously weakened.
14 hours sleep, I think.
Well, that was good.
It's quite an effort. But...
And well, we've all had a rest actually, haven't we? And our legs aren't as tired as they would have been.
Sort of took a half day in the end, didn't we?
Yeah. And we've just got to see how you go, how you feel. But you need to keep rehydrating and see if you can get some food down.
Yeah, you got through it.
And we'll see what we can do.
Okay, shall we make screens? I tripped over. Ouch. Isn't that obvious, Daddy? It is obvious.
Alcohol wipe and that would do it, I think, doesn't it?
I think get all the dust out.
King's house is just above Whew's Head over there. I reckon where the hotel is, they've planted them to give some shelter to the hotel because in the winter time there'll be winds blasting down that valley. Cafe, 200 metres. Refuel.
Loose it first.
It's
Ready to head off again. By the time we got to the King's House Hotel, Sol was finding things hard. In the bar of the hotel was a map of the whole of the West Highland Way route, and we thought it would be good for Sol to see just how far he'd already come.
You walked 72 miles. 96, yeah, 24 miles left to do.
24 miles though.
You can do that.
Probably just had a hour and a half or so rest here at the King's House in a shaded spot in the woods, and we've persuaded the young one that we can get a bit further. Rachel's feeling a bit better now as well, and actually where we're heading to is just around the curve of this hill here where the Devil's Staircase goes up. And we're hoping we can get there and find somewhere to camp for the night. This is what winds me up. Just here, slack packers, they get all their luggage delivered and then they walk it without any packs, unlike some of us purists. I've still got day 5 food in the rucksack here, which I put in every day, thinking, what am I carrying all this for? But there wouldn't be enough proper food to buy from a hotel like this, just Mars bars and stuff like that. So fortunately Rachel's feeling a lot better now. Still a bit weakened from the sickness, but hopefully on the mend. So we had a little psychological dip when we got to the King's House, which was one of our last sort of road points of possible escape. We've lightened his load and he's now actually really motivated because Rachel did tell him what awaits at the end, and that's that we're going to get him a medal along with the other 2 for having hopefully walked the whole of the West Highland Way. So that's certainly got his motivation levels up again. I was telling him I got my first medal when I was 10. That was for playing in the Cub football team, and I remember being very proud of my one and only medal at the time. And I'm sure he will when he realises what it signifies of what he's achieved. So we've just got to get there now, but it's another little added goal, something to say that he's done it.
How did it get there?
Put it there.
When did we put it there?
Way back in October.
So this stone here was placed, we put it actually there?
Oh yeah.
Me and Sol did.
Yeah.
So Mum placed that stone back in October and we said we'd come back and find it, and it was still there, tucked in behind the metal post.
Yeah. I think it came from the beach at what's it called? What's the beach we love? Shell Island.
Alright.
I think that's where it
So
might come from.
we need to find another good place to hide it that we can find another time.
I don't think we'll come back another time, Roland.
No. Yeah, but it doesn't mean to be this holiday.
This holiday. We can set
We
ourselves
can do another
stone
one.
challenge.
Well, we're on to the Devil's Staircase now, up from Glencoe, and that's 10 miles for the day. which for Rachel, who has thrown up all like yesterday's food and has had 6 chicken nuggets since then, is doing very well. I don't know what she's going on really. Sol's doing brilliantly as well. The thought of a medal at the end of all of this is keeping him motivated. And there they are up ahead. Give us a wave, Sol! So, just hoping now that it's not too windy at the top, because we should be able to find a flat enough spot for putting the tents up, but the wind's going to be compressed onto the top of the hill there, and hopefully it's not going to be too strong. It's now straight into my face from a more or less easterly direction coming through this gap here, so it depends what it's going to be doing just the other side of this ridge. I'll find out. I hope we don't have to hike on and on to find a sheltered spot, but fortune favours the fortunate. Got to say, this is one of the more spectacular bits of the West Highland Way, the views, with the Buccleuch Moor over there. Just about remember climbing it 20 or so years ago, scrambling up the ridge with some friends. And we were talking earlier about another peak that I climbed with Rachel in winter conditions, and made the mistake of heading down the wrong ridge and having to traverse a treacherous snow slope to get back to where we were going. And we were sort of joking about alternative universes where one of us might not have made it, telling the boys they wouldn't have either.
We did it now.
We did it.
You are badass, kiddo.
These are the 2 people's like graves and memorials.
We made it to the top of the Devil's Staircase. Not as windy as I feared. We've just got to find somewhere to camp now. I think I can see Ben Nevis. Reckoning that could be it there, but need to double check on a map. This is the camp food of choice stuffing mix. Mind you, we've also got, what's this, Mummy? Cottage pie. Cottage pie. And that's going to go with some cheddar cheese flavoured mash. You done well today? 10 miles.
0.2.
10.2. Actually, the 0.2 was the hardest, wasn't it? Getting up that last bit. It does sound like that rain's easing off actually. I think it's almost stopped.
Well, it eased off a couple of times, then it came back. So
Yeah. Anyway, we had to bring the waterproofs or something. We'd have been disappointed having to carry them and not use them, I think. Just spotted some deer up there. Oh, I might get a silhouette. There we go. Just about.
happened. Dad, look at this.
2 deer.
Eyeball pics.
Right.
I'm selling my eyeballs for
back camera.
£10
Have you got
a
any
month
water?
to get daily eyeball pics. Pocket champion.
No,
water filtering while we cook breakfast. New game is javelin throwing.
3, 2, 1. I win by a freaking mile! Mum, Bruce landed whistle.
You're a hero, blah blah blah.
Oh.
Okay, do you want me to beat you then, Mervyn?
Oh yeah, Dad, beat
Oh
him.
god!
I'll film.
Winner!
Okay.
Well, I won by a cup.
Ready?
No.
Oh,
I do that in my sleep. I could do that with my eyes closed. Shall I close my eyes?
Okay.
Bloody hell! Who are you?
And we've just seen our first cuckoo. We've heard lots of them.
I've had one every day so far,
Yeah.
and it's day 5.
But this one was actually flying and cuckooing as it flew past. I think it's the first cuckoo I've ever seen.
PogChamp.
So coming down into Kinloch Leven on a track alongside a big hydroelectric scheme, and this must be where the turbines are, somewhere down there. How are you feeling, Roo?
Quite tired and slightly sick feeling.
Roo's suffering at the moment, so we've taken a bit of weight off him and we're just going to take it steady, see how we get on.
Yeah.
Hoping he's not gone down with what Rachel had.
In black and white.
Holy moly!
Holy moly.
It's an actual chicken.
Hello? Fortunately, Roo's perking up a little bit. Not feeling quite as bad as he did before. Taking it steady on the climb out of Kinloch Leven. This is the second biggest climb on the walk, after the one up from Glencoe to the Devil's Staircase that we did last night.
But it is supposed to be the
Just
least
got a little bit
painless way.
sore here
The
and
least
here, a
painful.
little bit of blistering forming.
Yeah, because the blister itself is painful. And if you can get
Merlin's
the skin
just
to
had a
You said
bit of surgery on his.
least painful, whatever.
We've got some
Blah, blah, blah.
more water filtering, which gives us a good excuse for a rest. What are you doing?
Rainbow spaghetti.
And Sol is busy making rainbow spaghetti. Sol's going to go and show everyone his
My modern art.
Modern
It's
art.
PogChamp. So using sweeties, which is the best thing in the world, modern art, that is so good modern art. I'm gonna make it so you want sweets. You want them, don't you? You want sweets, don't you, little child?
It's the long valley out from Kinloch Leven. So we've done nearly 9 miles now today, and people are starting to feel it in their legs and feet and other bits.
What other bits?
I don't know, what other bits are there?
Curious what the other bits are.
shoulders, rucksacks.
I've got
be
a
honest-
blister on my hand from trekking cold, I suppose.
It's mostly my feet that hurt.
Quite feet.
And soles,
It's been mean ground today.
yeah, it has been difficult
So
terrain.
many cobbles.
So soles, feet are suffering as well. No blisters, but just sore and aching. We've lightened his pack. Sent him ahead at the moment. 12 miles in and still walking and hoping to find a campsite just around this corner where we can put the tents up. So just coming around the corner now, and we'll have to go around the next corner because this looks a bit tussocky, rocky and not very flat. So that corner turned into the next corner and the next corner, and we still haven't found a good flat spot for 3 tents. So everyone's having to dig really deep now. So we're camped up, just had first course, Maggi noodles, and now cooking up some semolina with dried fruit. But just as we were getting the tents up, Sol, our youngest, unfortunately was sick, which suggests that actually it's a virus going around rather than food poisoning, which we thought Rachel had.
Yeah.
And explains why Rue's not been feeling well, and we just hope that nobody else goes down with it. So it's 10 miles to Fort William. No idea whether we're going to make it today yet. I have to see what condition Sol's in. He was sick several times last night. Rachel having to deal with looking after him in the tent and using a pan to catch the vomit because it was too bad with the midges to be able to go outside. So Sol's had a really rough evening. I hope he's had a better night. I hope he's woken up and he's okay. But it might mean that we don't go very far. So I reckon, Sol, we've got a new benchmark. Worst evening of your life so far?
Yeah.
In 10 years? It's always good to have a benchmark to work from. And then you can relate anything bad that happens to you to that now. And think, well, actually it was worse when I vomited in a cloud of midges.
I believe it was 28 times.
28? Oh dear. So, Sol and Rach have been grading paths, one being very poor, being the path to hell, 10 being perfect springy, turfy grass to the way to heaven. And what's the rating on this one at the moment, Sol?
1.
This is
It could be steep as well. And then 2.
2. That's Ben Nevis dead ahead of us. Ben Nevis. We'll walk down into Fort William. So we're into our last couple of miles into Fort William, and success definitely looks on the cards for today, which at the beginning of the day was still an uncertain thing. Finishing wasn't a problem, we could have done it over 2 days, but fortunately Sol's rallied round after last night's vomiting episode and is actually doing really well. We've taken all the stuff out of his rucksack, so although he's still wearing one, it's not actually full of heavy load, and he's perked up brilliantly actually.
Do you like bacon?